Hey guys, so I'll be giving you guys 3 tips on how to make a neat and perfect braid as a beginner. So if you've been braiding and your braid is not as neat as mine, this tutorial is going to help you. It's the best tips ever to make a very neat braid, and for starters as well.
No, 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 I don't think so. No, 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 it's never, ever, ever.
So your number one tips in braiding hair as a beginner is to first make sure that the extension you are using is equal. When I said equal, it means that 3 strand you have on your hand, the 3 individual places should be the same size. All of them should be evenly, they should be the same size. So if they are not the same size, it's going to be obvious that you don't know how to braid or you cannot braid. So pay attention to that. So most of the time, even when you are making mistake and then your extension is equal on, as in the 3 strand of extension is on the same size, like equal, it will not be obvious that you're actually making a mistake. It will hide all those errors. Whenever you want to make your braid, you want to braid hair, or you want to braid for a client, or you want to practice, make sure that the 3 different strands is equal to make one braid. That's what I mean. Like the one I am braiding on my hand now, you could see that I divide it into 3 for me to be able to braid. So when you want to braid, definitely it will be in 3 sessions. So make sure that 3 sessions individually, they are the same size, and when you put them together, it becomes very perfect. No one will see your error even when you are making mistakes, because they are equal on the 3 ends. It will not show that you're making a mistake. So put that in mind when next you're braiding. What I like to do next is to trim as I braid. So if I braid one hair, I trim that hair. It gives me the opportunity to like trim individually, and it makes your braid very neat and clean. In short, it will be looking like it's a pro that actually made that braid. But see how neat the braid looks. Look at how perfect, how even that braid is. So that is how I want your next braid to look like. This leads us to tips number 2. So on tips number 2, what I'm going to be explaining to you guys is how to make sure that your braid is actually neat. So for you to be able to have a very clean braid as a beginner, you need to pay attention to these tips number 2. So pay attention to my hand, my finger, how I move my hand. So if you notice, what I'm trying to do is to hide that natural hair beneath the braiding attachment. So you don't want the natural hair to be on top of the braiding attachment. You want it to be underneath the braiding attachment. So that is what I am trying to do. That's the reason why I actually slow this session, so you can take note of what I am doing. So what I do while I'm braiding downward, you can see that it looks as if I'm twisting the attachment. I'm not actually twisting the attachment. What I'm doing is making sure that that area where the natural hair is going beneath the braid, like under the braiding extension, not on top of it. Because if you have the braiding extension on top of it, your braid is going to be rough. It's not going to look neat. And even that, if you have to braid it on top, it means you're going to be trimming a lot of the client's hair, which is not going to be good for a protective style. So please pay attention to that. That's your tips number 2. Before we move on to tips number 3, I would like you guys to do me a favor by dropping a comment and let me know if you actually like the video or what you've learned so far. So let's head on to tips number 3. So on tips number 3, is how you grip your braid from the roots. You have to pay attention to the way you grip your braid. You could see when I rest the attachment on the hair, I shed my hair in three. This is for those who already have an idea on how to grip your braid from the roots. But if you don't, please, I have a more detailed tutorial on how to grip braid from the root. I'll be linking it. Go and watch it after watching this. It's going to help you a lot. If you are a beginner and you don't know how to braid and you want to learn how to braid, that tutorial is going to help you very, very well. So you could see how I grip it from the bottom. You see, within a minute now, I'm going to change the position of my hand. That is what I just did. You change the position of your hand and then you can braid downward. The reason why you are changing the position of your hand is because the way the hand was positioned, you won't be able to braid downward with that way your hand was positioned. So you have to change the direction and then you can braid well and get a neater one. And with that, it gives you opportunity for you to be able to hide the natural hair onto the braid. So you can see that the three tips actually correlated. How you make sure that your attachment is equal and even, and the second one is how to hide your natural hair while you're braiding, and the last one is how to grip the braid from the root. So this is how you basically make braid as a beginner. If you want to learn how to braid, this is the tips you need to have, the ideas you need to have for you to be able to make a very clean, neat braid as a beginner, and you actually make it like a pro. But look at that braid, look at how beautiful it is. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you guys, and don't forget to drop a comment before leaving. Have a nice day. Bye.